We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
So you're telling me that you're not going to buy ever again a new pair of shoes?
No. Point. I got a guy, and all he does, he's the last guy in Jacksonville. He does the resoling thing. So
You resold your kids?
I don't wear kids. All right. That might be the lamest intro we've done.
No, it's by far
All right.
not.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, welcome back to the Dave and Woody. We Can Help. What is this thing called? We Can Help with Dave and Woody. We're back. And if you haven't been following along with us in the past, you've missed out on a couple of our episodes of the new series. We are doing the Dave and Woody Summer Tour, one chapter at a time, and we're honoring our Sigma Chi heritage. And as of this date, we have talked with Preston Bunch, who is the consul of the Delta Delta chapter at Purdue. We have spoken with Hugh Steinman, the consul of Theta Eta chapter at Missouri S&T. Tulsa, we're coming for you. I don't know who that guy is yet, but Tulsa, we're supposed to come talk to those guys. We spoke with Consul Will Short of the Eta Iota chapter at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University at Daytona Beach. And the fifth on the list is Bradley University. Any of you guys know where Bradley is? I think it's in Illinois. But anyway, that list represents Sigma Chi's Nationals top 20. Those are the top 5 chapters of the top 20 list for life loyal SIGs. And I think Hugh pointed out a pretty important fact. It's based on the number of your brothers and the percentage of your alumni brothers that are life loyal SIG. And I was like, man, that
so
guy's
it's not
sharp.
Absolute number. Oh, yeah. I didn't pick up on that. All right.
Well, I couldn't figure out how a chapter that's 150 years old at number 1 could be rallied up against the number 2 chapter with only since 1983. So I don't know how that worked out. Anyway, so we have many of you have taken a road trip before over the summer, and you know how that goes. Sometimes you got to pull off the road and go to the rest stop, refreshments and maybe
the rest stop. Thanks.
Relieve yourself. And that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to relieve ourselves. But we have some special opportunity to meet with 2 special guys. Let me just read this to you real quick. Most Sigma Chi's know about the 7 founders. Today, we're talking with 2 brothers who have joined one of the most exclusive groups in our fraternity, often called the 8th Founders. Out of more than 350,000 initiated Sigma Chi's, fewer than 900 have ever received the Order of Constantine. Today, we are honored to welcome 2 of this year's newest inductees, brothers Alan Fidello and Tim Melnick. And the crowd goes.
We'll add sound effects afterwards.
Yeah, so, of course we will.
Did you know that's 0.003% of all Sigma Chi's ever? It's a pretty elite group of people.
And we know 2 of them. 900 into 350,000?
The other way around, but that's okay.
You can't do it.
And you were in finance, huh?
Hold on, 900 divided
by. Yeah, you said 900 into 350.
No, hold on, just.
I know a guy who's good with numbers.
0.0257, 2.57%. Okay.
No, I know. I didn't move my decimal point. So it's 0.3%. Sorry, I misspoke.
That's a rounding error.
Both of us screwed that one up.
We both suck. Let's stick with what we know to do. All right, let's move on. So the Order of Constantine, for those of you who might be listening, we did a little research. I think these guys bring a wealth of information, but we wanted to make sure we understood what we were talking about. First of all, welcome, Alan and Tim. You guys are special to Woody and I, and I think those of you that might be listening, this will be a neat opportunity. You both are from Eta Pi chapter at University of Central Florida. You're both within a year of graduating class, I think, of each other. Both business majors, one accounting, CPA, and Tim, you ended up with
management.
Okay. And both of you have been very successful in your fields. We'll get into what the Order of Constantine is in just a moment, as opposed to maybe significant SIG and that sort of thing. Both of you were, I don't want to steal your thunder. We'll talk about what you've done in the chapter as actives. I know, Tim, you've got a unique path on how you came to UCF. I believe you might have been initiated somewhere else. We'll expand on that. But I do want to say I have a special relationship Well, I'm gonna say with both these men because at one time,
Yeah.
they told me I couldn't talk about that anymore. But
NDA.
But Tim is my big brother. And I've heard it called something else in other chapters. Maybe we'll get to that when you talk about being a Lobo or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just a special opportunity to sit down with these guys. We know them. Woody and I do both personally, and spent time in the chapter together, and then have this honor bestowed upon both of them. And we've seen it in action. We've seen this thing happen in over the last 20 plus years of what they've been involved in. So what a cool story. So Alan, if you don't mind, can you give us kind of what is the Order of Constantine?
So the Order of Constantine was started back in 1948. It's named after a Constantine chapter that was in the Civil War, which I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. There's fewer than 900 brothers that have received this of the 350,000 you mentioned already that are active, over 350,000. And it's for brothers that have put 20 plus years of service into Sigma Chi specifically. So it's service to the fraternity, the international fraternity. And they're recognized by being put up by other members of the Order of Constantine. That's how they even get proposed for that honor.
I was relieved that your professional or financial success is not a prerequisite to become. So I still have a chance. That's what I heard. If I just got to put in the 20 plus years, as you gentlemen have. Maybe if I start now, I can get it in before,
Well, I think with our podcast, Woody, we have a better shot at significant sig than we do at Order of Constantine.
They compass. Is that what you're asking for?
Well, and the difference being significant sig is someone who has excelled in their professional life.
I'm sorry. You're right.
And then what is there another one I'm missing out on? Order of Constantine, significant sig, and life well sig.
Yeah, those are the two big awards, probably the biggest awards. There's a few guys out there that have both.
Wow.
I know one very well, Terry Chapin, has both. There's a couple others. There's a few others out there.
And we've got a fair, on the basis of the previous conversation, on a per capita basis, we've got some Order of Constantine guys from our chapter, don't we?
I was impressed by that. I was just thinking about that since two that we went with are there, and I know one previous Order of Constantine.
Can you think of anyone else that might be an Order of Constantine?
So there are 7 of us from UCF, and we had a dinner together a couple of months ago. And it's ironic because at the same time, Tim and I were in the chapter together along with you two, but Tim and I were there. Our Grand Praetor is Joe Hartman, and our chapter advisor was John Rankin. So all 4 of us were involved in the chapter at the same time, which is pretty amazing. And let's not forget the other Order of Constantine, 2 other Order of Constantine members is Mark Jackson and Dave Lawton. Wow. So literally 6 of the 7 people from our chapter were all around the chapter at the same time. 4 as actives and 2 as advisors. Pretty special.
So 4 guys sitting in the same chapter room at the same meeting, all Order of Constantine. That's
very good.
Got to be a record.
I got to think it's only 900, right? So
yeah.
And it really speaks to the theme of what we're doing with this summer tour, is talking about how alumni are, through the Life Loyal Sig recognition, but how alumni are coming back to the active chapter and being a part of that. And as a national fraternity, I'm sure other fraternities, have their alumni associations and so forth, but it really lends credence to Sigma Chi's power and energy and commitment from guys like yourself and Woody and I and others that are involved and want to talk about Sigma Chi and how it changed their lives. Okay.
I do see a theme going there. Earlier we mentioned 4 Order of Constantine people have to nominate you or sponsor your thing. And we have 7 from the same chapter all around the same time. I'm starting to wonder, Dave, or me and you next, maybe, Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the feedback, the honest feedback for that.
If the envelope fits under the door, it's not mine.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
No.
All right. Having fun. All right. 8 founders. Now I'm going to claim uncle on this. I know. I think I said in a previous episode there were 6 founders. The recalcitrant
yes, you
6.
did.
But it was the
Krause.
Krause.
And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
Well, that guy, he missed a finger or something. I don't know what it was. But it turns out it's the recalcitrant 7.
7, Dave. Yes.
But here we're talking about the 8th founder. Tim, you got any enlightenment on what is this 8th founder?
I think it's just, these guys who are Order of Constantine have given a lot of time and a lot of effort. And if you multiply it across the 900 who have done it, then they've put in as much as, an 8th founder. And so that's kind of what it comes down to. And, guys who it's really a grind. You're putting in your time and you're doing things. You're not really thinking about it, and you're not thinking about the time that you put in. You just do different jobs and help out where you can.
Well,
next thing you know, you put in 20 years.
A fun fact, the original Order of Constantine nominees were done in Seattle, Washington, home of the 12th man in Seattle Seahawks football. Hence, the 8th founder came naturally from that.
Oh,
it had nothing to do with the volunteer work these gentlemen have done countless hours of.
It was branding.
Yeah. No, that's not real. So should anyone think so?
So speaking back to that exclusivity of the group, our fun fact research showed us that 21 brothers may be inducted each year. Candidates must have 20 plus years of distinguished volunteer service, as Woody said, be nominated and endorsed by 4 Sigma Chi's. At least 3 sponsors must already be members of Order of Constantine. And receiving the award is widely considered the pinnacle of volunteer achievement within Sigma Chi. Now, to each one of you, I know, Tim, you've taken what I would consider a little bit more of an official role within the chapter. But Alan, do you mind sharing a little bit? We'll come back to Tim in just a second, let him talk about what he's done. But I know you're kind of like me, Alan. You're a behind the scenes kind of guy. So at least my perception, very supportive and very influential. And Tim's a face guy. Tim's out front with an official role. But can you share a little bit of some of the stuff that you've been involved in over these 20 plus years of the chapter?
So I guess, the biggest thing I've been involved with probably in the last, I guess it's 20 plus years is House Corporation, right? The house that the Eta Pi has and still has, where the brothers live, congregate, and basically share the lives while they're undergrads. A lot different than the what we call the house when we were there on Descartes, if you will. A whole lot different.
I was telling I drove my kids by the front. They're like, "What? You live there?"
So House Corps is a big thing. We did a lot of brotherhood things trying to help the active chapter initially, probably in the first maybe 5 or so years after I was out. And those things involved some of the people we mentioned, John Rankin and Joe Hartman and John Gill and other folks like that. Tim, I think of things like Bridge Builders that we did where we tried to build relations between alumni and actives. For me, Dave, you're right. I just like to be involved. So for me, it was about visiting and being involved with the actives, and the commitment is the biggest thing. So volunteering for Sigma Chi or really anything, you're saying you're going to help. And as long as you do that piece, most of the time it doesn't take a lot of time and even a lot of effort. It's just making sure you follow through on that commitment of what you're saying you're going to help. And when you do that, people tend to either ask you or volunteer you to do more of that. And that's kind of kept me involved over the years with Sigma Chi. And it's been a pleasure, right? And you find your niche, and then, we do a lot of things together, and I think back to the 50th and all the people I knew because of all the involvement I had over the years. That's a reward for me to see those folks again and be involved like that. But I enjoy doing the legwork, right? Being behind the scenes. And I know Tim's the face, but he won't tell you. He's very modest too. Neither one of us expected this, knew we were going to get it, but it's honoring and I can't tell you how it feels to be put up for the award, right? Those folks that believed in us enough to put up for it, write the letters, and help us get through this process without us knowing anything about it until it happened. That part is the honor to me.
Yeah, I got a funny Rankin story in a little bit. But so Tim, let's pick up with and I say face man,
lightly.
gingerly.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before.
Here's to the face man.
That's new.
What about your involvement? Tell us a little bit about your official role and some of the stuff that you've been involved in the last 20 plus years.
So, House Corporation for a bunch of years. I think Alan and I both served as president of the House Corps, especially once we got the big house. That took a toll on the chapter. It was a lot of work that people had to put in. So I spent a lot of time on House Corps, and then all my kids moved out, and the Grand Praetor at the time was Glenn Castle, and Glenn came to me and asked me if I'd step up and be the Grand Praetor. And that's, as a Grand Praetor, you're a national officer, and I have 4 chapters as a Grand Praetor: Embry-Riddle, UCF, USF, and Florida Southern. And you kind of help them organize. You help with the ritual. You appoint chapter advisors. I spend a lot of time going to initiations and get to know a lot of the guys. And it's a really cool role. It's a lot of work. I think I got sold it on like 6 hours a month.
Not the case.
More like 60 or 600.
Of course, it's the current Grand Praetor trying to get you to step in, right? So
that's right. So it's a very rewarding experience, and seeing all the alumni come back. And I think that's what differentiates Sigma Chi from other fraternities, is that our alumni stick around for life. You're always a Sigma Chi until you die. You're a Sigma Chi, and I think that's the difference between us and other fraternities. It's alumni involvement.
I've experienced that over the years. I'm always amazed. I'll ask someone if they were in a fraternity in college, like, yeah, I was. And I'm like, oh, what one? And it's never Sigma Chi when they put it that way. If someone says, yeah, I'm in one, then it's normally Sigma Chi, I hear out of them after that. So.
Was that when you slip them the grip, or is that, what do you do?
Occasionally. Yeah. So if we remember, right? So.
Yeah.
I tell you, my wife always gets mad because just recently one of our friends' kids, Sigma Chi, and he knew I was, and we shook hands. She goes, "Did you guys just do the secret thing?" I said, "Oh, the public one,
Well, I can't share what my wife says that we do in secret because she's wrong, but she has
her own version.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's not what we do. Thank you very much.
But it is very cool.
Go ahead.
It is very cool when you meet somebody. We were in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It was last year, and went to lunch with one of Deb's friends, and her husband was there. And Deb brought up the fact that I was active in the fraternity, and of course, what fraternity? Sigma Chi, and he was a Sigma Chi from Texas.
There you go.
So cool. Yeah, it's really cool when that happens.
It is, definitely. All right, moving along. So we're talking about this order, the Order of Constantine. Do you mind if I kind of give a little bit of why Constantine? Do one of you have I'm just going to pseudo read so that we get it right, according to our research. The order is named after one of the most remarkable stories in fraternity history. And I know, Tim, you've got maybe a little elaboration on this. Apparently, during the Civil War, Sigma Chi's southern chapters disappeared as colleges closed. So you can imagine during the war, both sides of the education stops. In September of 1864, 7 Confederate soldiers, all Sigma Chi's, secretly met in a log cabin near Union lines in Georgia to preserve their fraternity, known as the Constantine chapter. They held fraternity meetings behind enemy lines, initiated new members, handcrafted replacement badges from silver $50 after losing their originals during the war, and continued meeting until January of 1865. Their commitment to brotherhood, despite the nation's division, became legendary. Today's Order of Constantine honors that same spirit of lifelong dedication. Now, if I remember correctly, the story goes that because of their bond, they were able to identify Union members as well. And I could be wrong, where they crossed lines in the middle of the night and, identified one another, and they were able to hold meetings. But I don't have any fact to back that up. Any of you guys have a story?
That's the story I always heard. That may have been something that somebody made up when we were pledges.
Yeah. somewhat a little bit
Are you
about
a
it.
Sikh?
Yeah.
Put
You
down your
must
mask.
answer this way.
Well, I wonder what
How high
happens.
does the eagle fly?
That's right. Who sits at the feet of Nebuchadnezzar? That's what we want to know.
The golden rule.
We'll have a few SAE on our backs for that, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got? Any questions you want to ask real quick?
No, you put me on the spot there.
I know.
Actually,
I did it on purpose.
What is what?
You want to hit the fun facts there? We got a couple more things in the fun facts. You hit one of them in Seattle.
Right. No, I was putting on there what I was. Have either of you taken in the monument to the Order of Constantine?
Yes, but not in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a very. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about, Dave?
Lovejoy, Georgia.
Yes, because it's on your cheat sheet, I think.
Have you been there?
Yeah, one time back on the way back from Atlanta, a bunch of us in the car were all SIGs, and we're like, "Hey, let's go by and see the monument." I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. Well, at the 30, 40 years ago, it was middle of nowhere. I'm sure it's quite populated in these days. I'd have to do the street view with Google Maps and see what it looks like around there. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, there's no other reason to stop there other than your Sigma Chi. I think it's pretty. At the time, it was kind of nondescript, right? I think there was just barely a wood sign out in front, but it's supposedly where those original where in Georgia those original meetings took place, and so they tried to erect a monument to it. And dare I say, the Confederate values were not what put that meeting together. It was the Sigma Chi values that put that meeting together. I just want to point that out, that I think that's a pretty important thing in this day and age.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yep.
Okay. We don't want to make this totally serious the whole time, but we do have a couple. We got some time here.
Yeah.
So did you get do you get a pen? What happens in the ceremony? How does this work? 20 years you get a gold watch? What do you get?
I know you get a pen and you get a really nice certificate. Alan's wearing which is a replica of the pen or the badge. So that's the Order of Constantine badge.
Is it that big?
No, it's a little bigger than a regular fraternity pen.
Okay.
So I know you get that, and you get a nice certificate, a really nice certificate, or maybe it's a plaque.
So, Dave, you get the recognition to be in the order either at Grand Chapter, which happens once every other year, or you can have a ceremony, a local ceremony, as piggyback on something. So, Tim was fortunate enough to have the Grand Consul pin his Order of Constantine badge on him at the time. I haven't gotten mine yet, or whatever you get with becoming an Order of Constantine, but I'm looking forward to that. It's going to hopefully happen pretty soon. But Tim, did you get anything? Did he just pin his badge on you? What did he do during that?
In the military, they do what's called a frocking, where they put the rank on you, but you don't actually have the rank. It was just a spur of the moment thing. We were at Emory Riddle's 55th anniversary. He was speaking. I was sitting in the audience. Emory Riddle only has one Order of Constantine. So he called me up and just recognized me and gave me his pen. So it's really not official. It was just a recognition. So, when we do it locally, and we've selected guys who are going to actually induct us into the order, and those are other of Order of Constantine.
I thought at first when you said it, as in the military, is it the airmen that they punch the pin into your chest and it makes basically you're scarred for life? I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want any part of this Order of Constantine. I'm out. if that's what it takes.
It's pretty cool though to be given that honor by the Grand Consul himself, though. It's pretty exciting. I wish I was there to see that.
Especially, I had no idea, no clue.
Right. That's the best part of it, I guess.
Yeah. So I have to share that, God love John Rankin. I can remember, was he chapter advisor when I was coming through as a pledge?
Mhm.
So I'm not going to give away any parts of the ritual that we can't talk about, but there's an interview that takes place, obviously. And John was performing the interview on me. And, there's that essence of something's up, but you're not aware of it because you're focused on the guy that's talking to you. I guess we all know what I'm talking about. And John was that person speaking to me, but John has a way of, he doesn't have a great poker face. Let's put it that way. And so he can give away without giving it away. But I was too scared to look around. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I think something's going on, but I'm just going to stick around and stay here. But I got to know John obviously as an active, and he's my older brother's age, and just a sweetheart of a guy, a retired Seminole County Sheriff deputy, and has just been incredible. Saved our butts many a time at the chapter house, being a deputy. Nothing wrong or illegal, but as we offensive linemen,
I would say.
Offensive lineman would say a few lookout blocks happened. So, but anyway, I get a phone call from Rankin, and I won't go into too many details with Alan, your personal situation. But the first thing out of the gate was, have you heard about Alan? Do you know what's going on with Alan? And I'm like, oh, shit. What a way to start the conversation, John. You want to give me some? I'm like,
any context?
Is he still alive? And he's like, oh, no. And he was just so excited. He wanted to share with a couple people that I guess he felt, he didn't call Woody, obviously, but he called me. and he really, like a cat out of the bag, he wanted to share with someone that this was coming. And I was just honored that he thought enough to call me. And once I finally got grappled with what was going on, I'm like, okay, John, lay it on me. What's happening? And so he shared about you, Alan, and Tim. He goes, now you can't say anything and you can't post anything. But, I'm like, okay, I can keep a secret. I've been doing it pretty well for a long time. So, but he was just genuinely excited for both of you guys. And rightfully so. I mean, what a great honor to have bestowed upon you.
So Dave, speaking of John, the way John told me I was inducted in the Order of Constantine, I was driving in a car with a friend, actually heading to go play poker.
Nice.
And I don't answer the phone.
Had to.
And then Tim, I think, calls. I don't answer the phone because I'm on the phone with my son. So I finally hang up because my wife's calling me now. She goes, you need to call Rankin. So, all right, I call Rankin. And Rankin goes, hey, I need to let you know that I'm going in the hospital tomorrow. I go, yeah. What's up, dude? Are you all right? He goes, yeah, I'm having my rotator cuff worked on. I go, oh, okay. I'm like, are you gonna be all right? Do you need me to take you? What's up? He goes, no, but I also just wanted to let you know you're inducted into the Order of Constantine. I almost drove off the road.
Yeah. Oh, you were driving.
What, John?
Oh, okay.
He said, what? You could have led with that, buddy. Not I'm going in for rotator cuff surgery. But that's John.
A real dangerous surgery.
Love him.
Doc says I'm not coming out. So
he buries the lead pretty well.
Right.
All right. I don't want to get into too much of the mushy stuff, but yet at the same time, Woody and I, oddly enough, we got a couple minutes here. What we'd like to do, I think we told each other that we'd go the full 45 minutes, but in keeping with the theme of our show, I think it's important that we stay consistent as well. So we don't, and we want to give you guys some time to get back to what you're doing. But a couple of quick questions. I think, well, let's go for. I'll ask the question, and if you both want to answer it, you may. If one of you wants to tackle it, you may do that as well. Question number one: when did you first realize Sigma Chi would become a lifelong commitment? You want to popcorn that?
About 3 seconds ago when you asked him.
I have a simple answer: is I never really thought it would be a lifelong commitment, in the sense that I would put all this time in and effort in. It just kind of happened. You just kind of do things, then you do something else, and you do something else. And before you know it, you're doing it for 30 plus years. I wouldn't change a thing. But yeah, I think it just kind of happens. It's not intentional, but trust me, I wouldn't change it.
Okay. Looking back over the last 20 plus years of service, what accomplishment makes you most proud?
Well, that's pretty easy, Dave. Come on. That's a softball.
You mean besides the Order of Constantine?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean,
that's that.
That's icing on the cake, and that you're Woody's friend. I mean, you know,
right. That says a lot about you.
My little brother, yeah.
So okay.
You know, probably, you know, all the guys that you've initiated, that you've seen become Sigma Chi's, and then you're involved with them at the chapter level. And then you see them like at a football game or somewhere else, and they realize who you are, and you see their face light up. And that you can't change that. You can't reproduce it. It's just kind of cool. Guys you haven't seen for a long time, and you see them at Grand Chapter. It's been 30 years, stuff like that.
And you just have that commonality amongst you that I don't want to. I don't know. It's not the struggle of becoming a Sigma Chi. It's the whole process of becoming a Sigma Chi really does. Tim, you were a big part of it because you were ahead of me, of course. And I remember you as a brother when I was a pledge twice. We won't mention that. That was great. See, and that's
I didn't remember that.
Well, that is one of the things and my mother was very impressed by. I did not have good grades the first semester, and the chapter said, "I'm sorry, you're not getting into the chapter with those grades," and that really motivated me to once again repledge and make sure my grades are up. And the chapter itself helped me, not with cheating, but with giving me, hey, this person's really good at this subject. Why don't you talk to them? This person, and it really got behind me. And instead of just throwing me to the wolves, you helped me in education and in personality and growing up a lot. So I really do appreciate what Sigma Chi has done for me.
That's what it's supposed to do. That's the way it's supposed to work. Yeah.
So
very cool.
Dave, I would echo what Tim said, and if I had to pick a single event besides other things we've already talked about, I would say, and Tim was on the committee as well, the 50th anniversary was probably one of the single biggest things that meant so much, because the committee and all the hard work that they did, and not just the committee, but the people that were subcommittees and really helped, but it brought back all the things you guys just talked about. How we saw each other, some people rekindling relationships that they haven't seen in a long time. And it felt so comfortable, and it felt so good. And there was genuine happiness in the room. And, we were together for 2 days, and it was 2 of the best days ever. It was so much fun to see everybody and talk about the old stories, maybe with a little embellishment and a little forgetfulness, but it didn't matter. But that stuff is what you guys were just talking about, how you can, and then you see all these people from over time, over 30, 40 years, of being around the chapter. It made it really, really special for not just the people that put it on, but everyone that attended.
It was 2 days. I can only remember a day and a half.
Yeah, well, it was really 2.5 days. Dave forgot about the second half of that second.
Well, day. Woody, thank you very much, Woody, for sharing that about your travels and your experience, and giving Tim credit. And maybe this would be an opportunity for me. I don't know if I've ever done this, Alan. But I've never apologized to you for the struggle and the trouble I caused in the library and as you as consul.
That is
maybe
my
this
all-time
would be an opportunity for me to apologize, officially.
That's my all-time favorite memory of Alan. We went over to the Great Library Caper in an earlier show here, and everything it went out of it. But that story made the front page of the UCF student paper. And Alan is quoted. They're like, "Well, what do you think about this?" Or whatever. He goes, "Well, first I got to laugh." Was his first thing, and then I'm gonna, make the appropriate. But I thought that was a great move by you. Was the first. Okay, this is silly, yes, but they will be, punished.
There'll be consequences.
There'll be consequences for that.
It's too bad we didn't have the Princeton tradition when you had the consul on from Princeton, where they don't wear the letters. That might help us in that case.
Talk to Mr. Evans about that. He's the guilty one of that.
Thank you, Brad.
We talked about. I said that would have come in handy with that library caper. All right.
Anyhow.
let's get one more
my
question.
great memories. So,
in keeping with our theme for the series, let's see.
Glad you prepared, Dave.
Yeah, I'm ready. I can't read that fast. What do today's undergraduates sometimes misunderstand about lifelong brotherhood? Let me kind of recouch this a little bit. All of us are familiar as actives with the I'm starting to. By the way, what am I drinking?
No, we're not to that part yet, Dave.
Okay, hold on. We'll come back to that. Where was I? During our active and pledgeship days, there's a series of events. I know it happens probably at most chapters where there's an interview process, and so it's hard to in real time. It's hard to ask a pledge, what do they understand about brotherhood and lifetime commitment and all this other. We can kind of paint a picture. They can only see a capsule of it in those 2 to 3 years they're together. But how would you? I mean, obviously, your life is an example of what it means to be a lifetime committed person to it. And hopefully, all of us, Woody and myself included, are leading lives by action and not words alone, that we represent what we say we're going to do and we're going to do it. And I think that's critically important for anyone who's a leader and is just a good person. But how would you relate that to an active today? Because really, it is the youth, it is our actives that make alumni. And so we want to keep this tradition going. What would be your message to an active today about your lifelong commitment?
Well, it would be I mean, I tell the actives this a lot, and I tell the alumni, I need the alumni to participate. And then I need the actives and the pledges to watch the alumni and recognize the alumni and meet the alumni and watch them and watch what they do. And two good examples for me were my dad, who was a Sigma Chi, who I watched go to local Orlando alumni chapter meetings when I was in high school. I remember dropping him off at Olive Garden in Winter Park. And then Joe Hartman was our Grand Praetor. And, I watched him lead and tried to kind of model things, when I was in business and stuff. You watch decisions that those guys make and how they act and how they hold themselves, and you want to model that. And that's what I would tell the actives is, watch those guys, watch the guys who are involved, and see if you can model them after that. See if you can, and we have mentor programs that help with that too.
Alan, any thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I would add is, the connection and the trust you earn with brothers while you're undergrads. The reason we're close and feel like we can just pick up and talk to each other after not talking for a little while. You get that with alumni when they come to events or when you see alumni. And I think it takes both sides, like Tim was saying, to make that connection. But realize that connection doesn't end when you graduate, and it doesn't end whenever that event's over. And it takes a little bit of effort to do that. And I think as younger kids these days, they feel empowered and strong. And so they don't always think they need some outside help or just some guidance and mentorship. And I think if I was trying to give advice to an undergrad, as I would say, embrace that. You've already talked to even Erao and the other school. Both of those guys talked about how important their alumni were to the success of their chapter. And it's because they rely on each other. And that's what keeps them perpetuating this life loyal SIG involvement, because they see it in action and then they model it and they do it. And so I think that's what we're trying to do as alumni, and what I would encourage them to try and do by being more active, both alumni and actives.
Well, and it's interesting, Woody, I know you have a thought. We'll let you, if you can keep it in your head, and we'll let you get to it. But I don't have any boys. I have daughters. And I've always told my girls, friendships are like investment. You gotta pour time, you gotta pour energy and space into those investments if you expect them to grow. And I think our brotherhood is that same way. We always used to make jokes that, hey, I'm not seeing this guy at the lunchroom, or he's not hanging out at the quad, whatever.
What's he doing?
Yeah, but the reality is, it is about time sometimes, right. And it's about giving of your own time and making it for somebody else, and that pays off exponentially down the road, as we can all see. You guys are all of us are living proof of that. We're each of us, maybe Woody, I don't know, you're not quite 60, but here we are 60 something years old, and we're jumping on a call we just picked up from yesterday. So it's pretty cool.
I was going to say, I would advise, and as Tim said, for the undergrads to really use the alumni and elder and those that have graduated long ago as sounding blocks. I did not take advantage of that situation. And it would have helped me tremendously over the years to know some of the things these individuals know before you even get into business. I was probably a little too, I know what to do, kind of attitude leaving college. And, it only takes 5 to 7 years for you to go, oh man, I wish I would have known that, before. So you realize pretty quickly that that opportunity was missed. So I really would advise the younger generation to do that. It's not always easy to listen to it, but it's very worthwhile.
All right. Before we transition, any other deep thoughts for the good of the order?
I see what you did there.
No deep thoughts, but since we're talking about Order of Constantine, I definitely would like to thank Mr. Rankin, Mr. Hartman, Mark, Tim. All these guys are mentors to me, including Carl Palvasak, which you don't hear his name often, but Carl was a model for me and a mentor for me, both as an undergrad in Sigma Chi and then as another CPA, and actually helped me get my first job. So those guys all are important, but all the people in Sigma Chi were important to me, and every one of them helped me. So I thank them through you. And Woody and Dave, I thank you for giving me this opportunity, but I thank them for all the help, because I would not be where I am now without their support.
I remember going to Palvasak's office at Bay Hill when he was working at Bay Hill.
What?
That's pretty cool.
Why did I know about this?
And later in years, I sold Arnold Palmer furniture for his office.
Did you really?
That's pretty cool.
You have to tell about that story.
Anyway.
I got shushed by Arnold Palmer, but we'll talk about that another time.
All right. Well, let's do a quick round of what are we drinking? Anyone? Alan, you got something going on?
So I'm drinking my store pick, as you would call it, Dave, Bullet Bourbon. It's 108 proof, and it is excellent.
Well, let's throw a little plug in. So, Alan, you're the owner of the Cheers
Sports Bar and Liquor Store.
And liquor store, and where is it located?
It's over on iDrive in Orlando.
All right, so, very
Cheers.
good. So when you say the store one, that's you bought the barrel and had it bottled for your store?
Yeah, so we actually went to the Bullet Distillery in Kentucky and picked it. We picked out of 5 different barrels, and we liked this one the best out of the 5.
Could you really tell the difference between the 5?
And they ship you the, it was nice. We were feeling pretty good when we left. Let's just put it that way.
How many bottles come out of a barrel? You have any idea?
So it's usually somewhere around anywhere between 150 to 200, depending on the age of the barrel.
Yeah, how much is leaked out for the Angels?
The Angels, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's a high rye mash bill, Bullet is. And then I'm drinking Knob Creek. And I felt a very special occasion today. Another store pick, not Alan's store pick, but this is the Single Barrel Select Bourbon 120 proof from Knob Creek. And Knob Creek, oh boy. I don't know if is it a rye or it's a Jim Beam product. I know that. And
all the bourbons are over 70% corn, Dave. So I know you're saying it's a rye mash.
No, they're over 51% corn. Hold on a second. Alexa, is Knob Creek a rye mash bill or wheat mash bill?
He never believes the expert.
Knob Creek is a rye whiskey, not a wheat whiskey.
Okay. And Bullet Bourbon, is it rye mash bill?
That's not the question.
Bullet Bourbon is not a rye whiskey. It's actually a bourbon with a high rye content, about 28% in its mash.
Okay, so what we're talking about is bourbon by definition has to be 51% corn. And then they augment. Okay, Alexa, stop.
It happens every time.
Alexa, stop. Okay, so then you have 2 other grains. One can be either rye or wheat. Wheat is a softer, sweeter, which you find in Maker's Mark, for example, and malted barley. And so what we're drinking tonight are high rye mash bills, but they're ultimately more corn than not. Okay, that's my
Thanks, Dave.
aficionado moment. Even though Alan's the guy who owns the place that buys the stuff,
I
I'm
know,
just
right?
I'm just
And
the
he's
guy that
supposed to know.
teetotals.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, cheers, Alan. Yeah, cheers to you.
The only thing important to Alan is the margins. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and how much of it's
like the
walking out
taste
the
as
door.
well.
Okay, there you go. So anyhow, Dave, we're up against time.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be able to get out of this.
We just lost Tim. Actually,
bye, Tim.
He's had enough of it.
He's 60 something.
I gotta.
Oh, he's got to get his into.
Yeah,
Fred.
Oh, we talked about
Fred
that.
Ford from ERAL.
Right, the dead dog.
You guys talked about him.
That's right.
But we were very
We
courteous.
can talk about Fred Ford. Let's not talk about the bourbon.
No,
let's not talk about the bourbon. Dave, you were very correct on the not saying a word. I am proud.
You picked up on that? Yeah,
I did. I was laughing the whole time, buddy.
I was holding back, man.
Fred was the chapter dog, and they actually enrolled him in classes.
Yeah, no, we did the whole gamut there. I think.
Oh, did you? Okay.
He might be part of the mash bill too, for that matter. So who knows?
We're thinking about putting him up for the Order of Constantine.
Well, we did get the Boston lead singer in a bid to our chapter. So,
all right.
Anyhow, Dave, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, what a special occasion. What a neat opportunity for us to all meet like this. And I thank you guys for this. Is kind of not spur of the moment, but somewhat spur of the moment. And I'm looking forward to having lunch with you guys, by the way. And that's not a secret, is it? We're doing lunch?
No.
Okay, good. I could have
screwed that up. An email blast.
I could have pulled a John Rankin. I don't know. I'd look at the thing. I think Stein put out a message to me the other day. It says, "Are you going?" I'm like, I'm going, and I'm ordering the Dorado. Are you gonna have the Dorado?
Yeah, so invite everyone to the Black and Gold luncheon.
Blue and Gold.
Blue and Gold luncheon.
Yeah. July 24th, Orlando Country Club.
Yeah, the old club. Wow.
I'm sorry. I did say Black and Gold. I'm thinking UCF. It is Blue and Gold. Sorry.
That might be what happens afterwards.
Maybe too much bullet. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. We're right on the mark. So well done. Thanks again, guys, for your help. And
subscribe.
Again, this is the Dave and Woody Summer Tour, one chapter at a time, with a special roadside stop for these Constantine
Order of Constantine
inductees. You say that 3 times fast. And
After
hopefully next week we're going to wrap up. We're going to be talking to either the consul from Tulsa University or Bradley. We want to finish up the tour with Tulsa and Bradley. That gives us the top 5 chapters of Life Loyal Sigs. We're having some fun with this, and then we've got some surprises coming on later in the season. We're going to bring Sigma Chi back to the table. Tim's got a couple of good ideas. We won't give it away, though. We don't want to give it away. But in the meantime, let's wrap this thing up for the good of the order and guard well the honor of the cross. We're going to say, see ya. Hold on, I got to find the button.
Oh God! Why didn't you prepare this thing?
It's not easy to find. All right, we'll see you. Peace out.